Most moons are just boring balls of rock. At least, that's what most people think. But scattered across our solar system are moons that completely ignore the rules. Some are shaped like potatoes instead of spheres. Some orbit their planets backwards. Some spray giant fountains of ice hundreds of kilometers into space. And one moon is so smooth and perfectly round that scientists still can't fully explain how it formed. The strangest part? These aren't science fiction. They're real worlds, orbiting the planets in our own cosmic backyard. Today, we're exploring the strangest types of moons ever discovered. And by the end, you'll see one so bizarre that it could completely change the way we think moons form in the first place. Shepherd moons. Imagine trying to keep billions of tiny rocks perfectly lined up while they're all racing through space at nearly 100,000 kilometers per hour. That sounds impossible. Yet that's exactly what shepherd moons do. Instead of simply orbiting a planet, these tiny moons act like cosmic sheepdogs, using nothing but gravity to keep enormous planetary rings from falling apart. One of the best examples is Saturn's tiny moon Pandora. Together with another moon called Prometheus, it constantly tugs on the famous F ring from opposite sides, preventing the ring particles from drifting away into space. Every time one of these moons passes by, its gravity pulls millions of icy fragments into new positions, creating giant waves, knots, and strange braided patterns inside the rings. Without shepherd moons, many of Saturn's beautiful rings would slowly spread out until they almost disappeared. But as strange as moons that control entire rings are, the next type barely looks like a moon at all. Potato moons. When you picture a moon, you probably imagine something perfectly round like our own. Nature doesn't always agree. Many small moons never became massive enough for gravity to pull them into a sphere. Instead, they look like giant floating potatoes. Mars's moon Phobos is one of the strangest examples. It's only about 27 kilometers across and is covered with enormous craters that make it resemble a battered asteroid more than a moon. Even stranger, Phobos is slowly falling toward Mars. Every century, it moves nearly 2 meters closer. In about 40 million years, Mars's gravity will finally tear it apart. The result won't be another crater. Instead, Mars could temporarily gain its own spectacular ring system made from the shattered remains of its moon. But not every strange moon was born around the planet it orbits. Some are actually cosmic kidnappings. Captured moons. Most moons form alongside their planets. Captured moons didn't. They were wandering through space completely alone, until one unlucky encounter changed everything forever. The largest captured moon we know is Neptune's Triton. Scientists believe Triton originally orbited the Sun as an independent object in the distant Kuiper Belt. Then Neptune's gravity grabbed it. Once captured, Triton's entire future changed. Evidence of that violent capture is still visible today. Unlike almost every large moon in the solar system, Triton travels around Neptune in the opposite direction of the planet's rotation. Astronomers call this a retrograde orbit. That single fact tells us Triton almost certainly wasn't born there. Its arrival was probably so violent that many of Neptune's original moons were either thrown into space or smashed apart completely. Today, Triton remains one of the strongest pieces of evidence that planets can literally steal worlds from deep space. But Triton isn't the only moon moving the wrong way. Some moons seem determined to break one of the most basic rules of the solar system: retrograde moons. Almost everything in the solar system moves in the same direction. The planets orbit the Sun that way. Most moons orbit their planets that way. Even most asteroids follow the same general flow. Retrograde moons refuse to cooperate. Instead of moving with the traffic, they race against it. Triton isn't alone out there. Jupiter and Saturn are quietly hosting dozens of smaller rebels, tiny moons dragged in from the darkness, all orbiting the wrong way. And rebellion has a price. Every backwards lap bleeds a little energy. Triton is paying that price fastest, spiraling inward, orbit by orbit, on a collision course with its own destruction. Billions of years from now, it may cross Neptune's Roche limit, where tidal forces become stronger than the moon itself. Instead of crashing into Neptune, it could be ripped apart completely. For a short time, Neptune might wear a ring system even brighter than Saturn's. But even moons with backwards orbits still spin in predictable ways. The next type doesn't even do that. Chaotic rotation moons. Most moons behave like our own. One side always faces their planet, the same face, forever. But not every moon follows that rule. Saturn's tiny moon Hyperion tumbles through space almost completely out of control. Instead of rotating smoothly, it flips, twists, and wobbles unpredictably. Imagine throwing a football through space, except every bounce changes its direction randomly forever. That's Hyperion. Its odd shape makes gravity pull unevenly across its surface, while Saturn and the giant moon Titan constantly tug on it from different directions. The result is one of the few naturally chaotic objects ever discovered. No one could stand on Hyperion and predict where the sun would rise tomorrow. The sky itself would become completely unpredictable. Its surface only makes things stranger. Hyperion is so porous that scientists compare it to a giant cosmic sponge. Nearly 40% of its volume is actually empty space, trapped between layers of rock and ice. If you somehow landed there, the ground beneath your feet would be far less solid than almost any world we've ever explored. Hyperion is strange, but Hyperion is also solid rock and ice, tumbling in the open. What if a moon hid something underneath something no telescope could see until we looked closer? Ocean moons. For centuries, astronomers assumed liquid water could only exist close to a warm star. Then they discovered worlds that completely shattered that idea. Ocean moons look frozen from the outside, but beneath their icy crusts, some may contain entire global oceans. Jupiter's moon Europa is one of the best examples. Its surface is covered with long reddish cracks stretching for thousands of kilometers, like giant fractures across a frozen lake. Scientists believe those cracks form because a vast ocean beneath the ice is constantly shifting and flexing the surface. That hidden ocean may contain more liquid water than every ocean on Earth combined. And Europa isn't alone. Saturn's moon Enceladus almost certainly hides another enormous ocean beneath its icy shell. These worlds are among the most promising places to search for alien life, because wherever we find liquid water on Earth, we find life. But some icy moons don't just hide their oceans, they spray them into space. Cryovolcanic moons. Volcanoes usually erupt with molten rock. Cryovolcanoes erupt with ice. Instead of lava, imagine gigantic fountains, blasting water, ammonia, and frozen gases hundreds of kilometers above the surface. That's exactly what's happening on Enceladus. Near its south pole, enormous cracks, nicknamed the tiger stripes, constantly shoot towering plumes into space. Some of these icy geysers reach over 500 kilometers high. The material eventually falls back like snow, while the rest escapes into orbit, helping feed Saturn's enormous E-ring. When NASA's Cassini spacecraft flew directly through one of these plumes, it found water vapor, carbon compounds, salts, and even hydrogen gas. Together, they're some of the strongest ingredients associated with environments capable of supporting life. But not every strange moon hides oceans. Some barely even manage to hold themselves together. Egg-shaped moons. Gravity usually forces large objects into perfect spheres. So when scientists found Saturn's moon Atlas, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Instead of looking round, Atlas resembles a giant flying saucer or an enormous egg wrapped with a thick belt around its middle. The reason is extraordinary. Atlas orbits just outside Saturn's ring. As it circles the planet, loose ring particles slowly collect around its equator, building a massive ridge that continues to reshape the moon over time. It's almost as if Saturn is slowly decorating one of its own moons with material stolen from its rings. But sometimes, a moon doesn't just collect ring material. Sometimes it creates the rings themselves. Ring-building moons. Saturn's spectacular rings didn't appear by magic. Many scientists believe they were built from moons that no longer exist. Whenever a moon drifts too close to its planet, gravity becomes dangerously uneven. The side facing the planet feels a much stronger pull than the far side. Eventually, the moon simply can't hold itself together anymore. It shatters. Billions upon billions of icy fragments spread into orbit, forming bright planetary rings. Phobos already told us its future once. Here's how it ends. Not a crash, not a bang, a slow unraveling. Mars's gravity will pull harder and harder until Phobos simply comes apart in orbit, scattering into a glittering ring that hangs over the red planet for a few million years before it finally rains down as dust. But if rings are made from broken moons, what happens when two moons become one? Contact moons. Most moons are single objects, but some appear to have formed when two completely separate worlds gently collided and stuck together. One of the strangest examples is Saturn's tiny moon, Pan. Its unusual shape gives it the nickname, the Ravioli Moon. Pan isn't the only body in the solar system built this way. Even Comet 67P, the rubber duck comet that made headlines when a probe landed on it, wears the same two-lobed shape, proof that this gentle cosmic gluing happens again and again on worlds icy and small. Scientists believe some small moons likely formed the same way. Instead of smashing each other apart, they collided so slowly that gravity simply glued them together. The result is a world with two distinct lobes connected by a narrow neck, almost like two moons fused into one. But as strange as these moons look, there's one feature even harder to explain: air. Atmosphere moons. Most moons are far too small to hold onto an atmosphere. Their gravity simply isn't strong enough. Titan ignored that rule. Saturn's largest moon possesses an atmosphere even thicker than Earth's. It's so dense that if you stood on Titan's surface wearing a warm spacesuit, you could strap artificial wings to your arms and actually fly. But the atmosphere isn't made of oxygen. It's mostly nitrogen mixed with methane instead of rivers of water. Titan has rivers, lakes, and even rain made from liquid methane. It's the only world besides Earth where scientists have discovered stable lakes on the surface. Clouds drift overhead, rain falls from the sky, rivers carve valleys across the landscape. The only difference: everything is made from chemicals that would instantly freeze solid on Earth, which brings us to the strangest moon of them all, lava moons. If hell had a moon, it would look like Io. Jupiter's innermost large moon is the most volcanically active world ever discovered. More than 400 active volcanoes constantly reshape its surface. Some eruptions blast molten material over 500 kilometers into space. The reason is gravity. Jupiter pulls on Io with unimaginable force, while neighboring moons Europa and Ganymede tug in different directions. The constant stretching and squeezing generates so much heat that the moon's interior never has a chance to cool. Its surface is covered in rivers of lava, giant sulfur plains, and volcanic mountains taller than Mount Everest. At any moment, dozens of eruptions may be happening simultaneously. Io isn't simply a moon. It's an entire world being continuously rebuilt from the inside out. And perhaps that's what makes moons so incredible. They aren't just lifeless rocks orbiting distant planets. Some hide oceans capable of supporting life. Some steal and shape planetary rings. Some rain liquid methane. Some erupt with ice instead of lava. And others are literally being torn apart before our eyes. The more we explore our solar system, the stranger these worlds become. Which raises one final question. If the moons orbiting our neighboring planets can be this bizarre, what unimaginable worlds are waiting around planets orbiting distant stars?